Hi, my name is Anastasia Ellis, and this is my podcast, King to Be. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you want to keep updated for when more episodes come out, please subscribe and follow. Hello, and welcome back to my podcast called King to Be. My name is Anastasia Ellis, and today I wanted to talk about friendships. Part of the reason why I really wanted to talk about friendships is because I have finally come out of a little bit of isolation in terms of like connecting with old friends and people and like trying to come out of isolation a little bit, I'm just trying to I'm not coming fully out. Like, I'm not going back on social media quite yet. Though that is to come soon. Well, I guess like when I put this out, I will be back on social media by that time. But as of right now, nope. I'm still staying off. Maybe I still like go on and observe. Like, I finally put Instagram back on my phone. Just Instagram. I still haven't put TikTok back on my phone. But I took off all social media stuff off of my phone for a second because, man, I was getting so invested in other people's lives to the point where I was just like, where am I at? Who am I? What do I want? Like, I was just like, I need to stop. Because, like, just because I want a Megan Thee Stallion booty does not mean that staring at her booty is going to give me her booty. You know what I mean? Anyway, going back to friendships. So, yeah, me being off of social media kind of does tie into friendships as well. Around the time that I decided to just like delete all of my social media apps off of my phone for a second just to like regroup. This was like back November 2020-ish time. Like, I think November, December 2020-ish time. Or sorry, 2022. So, just this last year, whatever, where I was realizing that like I was investing a lot of time into people and probably into the wrong people too. Because I realized I was getting a lot of opportunities, but they just didn't feel right. So I just had to like kind of close off for a second and really like figure out what people do I actually want to be around and which ones do I need to like put up boundaries with, which ones do I need to just completely cut off entirely. And this was kind of hard because I felt like, if I go back to like June 2022, I had already cut off a lot of people. So the fact that I felt that like I was still needing to cut off people was terrifying me a little bit because I was just like, yo, I'm about to have like no friends in Austin, Texas. I'm about to have no friends. But like I shouldn't say no friends. I should say that like I was around a lot of people that should have just been acquaintances, and I was treating them like close friends. Let's go into this a little bit. So I want to talk about like why friendships specifically are important. And I think it's really important like who you have around you just in general, like friendships, relationships, family members. Like, it's just really important what energies you decide to let into your life because, people can bring in a lot of good energy. People can bring in a lot of bad energy. And it's not like it's intentional, People are just being them, going about their business, doing their thing. But that doesn't mean that, like, that can't affect you too. And this is where it gets to a little bit of like, just seeing like how people are actually benefiting your life. Also, remember the vice versa with this too. How are you benefiting other people's lives? How are you being good? How are you showing up in your relationships? I think that that's really important too, because what you're reflecting is what you're going to get back. So if you're being a little bit of a dick in in your friendships, if you're not being the sweetest, or well, maybe not the sweetest, but like if you're not being genuine, if you're not being authentic, if you're not like, I'm not saying that you need to be brutally honest, because brutal is in the title. I'm just saying like you need to be truthful though. You need to be truthful. You need to come out here not messing around with people, like not like just looking at people as just an exchange. Even though like I kind of literally just said like, how are they benefiting you and how are you benefiting them? But like there's an exchange in energies that way, but like it shouldn't feel like a friend is like money, shouldn't feel like monetary, or like having an obsession with, how people have an obsession with money. You shouldn't have an obsession with your friends, or anybody. The only person you should really be obsessed with is yourself, in my personal opinion. So yeah, it's like I want to talk about a little bit of that. So I want to give a couple experiences that I've had the past year that has made me, reevaluate how I want to show up, and maybe reevaluate the people that I had in my life, that I have in my life currently, and where it's been like I need to cut this person off, or where it's been like I need to set some firm boundaries. So I'll start with an acquaintance. So I have an acquaintance that when I met this person, we just clicked. It felt like we had a lot of the same energy. This person was very bubbly and light, and I really gravitate toward people that are like that, because I really like people that, have like a lightness and like just airiness about them that, is just contagious. A smile that's contagious. I love people that think in a more optimistic manner than being more on the pessimistic side. So when I met this person, like we clicked, we started like hanging out like all the time, and like X, Y, and Z, right? And then there was a situation that happened with me that was very traumatizing. It was very nasty, and it was my fault. It was my fault. I own up to that. It was a situation where I just wasn't paying attention to like how I was actually feeling, and I was going off of a lot of my ego. I was going off of, how I was feeling, and like I only care about myself and I don't care about nobody else, and da 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 da, and I need to look out for myself. Now there's not a problem with that, like, looking out for yourself and only looking out for yourself until it starts to affect others negatively. So that negative experience happened, and I felt that since I was so close to this acquaintance, that I could confide in them. And at the time, like my other closer friends, I didn't know how to talk to them about this situation. And the people that were involved in the situation, like it just made more sense for me to, at that time, maybe like figure out how to navigate it with them. Um, and I realized that like I was probably leaning on that person a little too much during that hardship that I had. And even as like the months followed, I started to realize that like the relationship after like I had, you know, confided in that person started to change, and it wasn't as light and airy and fun anymore, and it just kind of felt like not necessarily why am I here, but more of like why are we doing this? Why are we still trying to kind of make our friendship more than what it really is? Why are we trying to, yeah. And with that, it started to get to a point too where like our conversations too were starting to repeat themselves. And it was getting really annoying for me because I felt like I was giving the same answer every time that I was around this person. It would be, for example, we would get together, this person like just got like this really amazing opportunity with a new job, and she was super super excited and everything. And like at the time I was going through a lot of like hardships with my job, and I started working at Ulta Beauty, and I was just like, I'm just trying to focus on getting money, blah 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 blah. Like I'm not focused on, you know, trying to have like the best job in the world right now. I'm just trying to get my money and focus on like how can I essentially reset my mindset and come back to a calmer, more neutral spot so that I can just be in tune with myself. Um, right? So this person really wanted to talk about their job. So every time after this person got the job, they would ask me, how are you doing? How's your job going, right? How are you doing? How's your job going? And I realized that like every time that they were bringing that up, even though it was a frustrating question to me because every time like every time it felt like it felt like a frustrating question for me because every time they asked, my response was always the same. It's a job. I'm just getting my money, you know, focusing on myself. It's not anything I really want to talk about. It's a job. It's work, you know. Like, I just kept trying to give this person hints that I didn't want to talk about it. But I knew that this person was asking me because they wanted to talk about their job. And now I don't see any problem with this person wanting to talk about their job, but I wish that they would have just talked about their job. Because as soon as I asked them, how is your new job going? Oh my God, it's so great! And blah, 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 blah. But I did have this problem though at work. And I'm like, I'd be sitting there like, why didn't you just tell me this? You know? I also tried to like, with this person, I tried to bring up other aspects of my life that I would rather talk about. Like, oh, I'm having such a great time with my sisters, and like we're making this really cute song together, and da 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 da. And that person would be like, oh, okay. And I'm like, I started to see that this person, I wasn't as aligned and like, it wasn't as perfect as I thought it was going to be of a friendship that I wanted it to be. And I was treating this acquaintance like a close friend when I should have just been like, yo, And I did start doing this where I was like, you know, I'll hang out with you one on one. Don't necessarily want to hang out with you in your friend group. Because also this person's friend group also just didn't align with me. And not that anybody was like bad in this friend group, but like it was just, it felt like I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm talking to these people. Not that they're bad people, not that I don't have any not that I don't have anything to learn from them, but it's just like it doesn't align. It just didn't align with me. And I also just never talked to these people outside of the friend group. So got into my head that I was just like, I'm gonna take my time and take time to myself and be like, yo, I need to focus on I had at that time too, I was just like, every time they wanted to hang out, they wanted to go out and eat. And I was like, I don't have money to eat out like that, okay? I don't have Applebee's money. I don't have Red Lobster money. I ain't even got fucking Jack in the Box money right now, okay? I'm trying to get the bread so that I can eat the bread, I'm trying to get I'm trying to get food in my I'm trying to get the groceries in my refrigerator. I don't need to be going out and getting ramen right now. I don't need the fancy ramen. I can't afford it right now. And I was I tried to even explain that part, like, or not like explain, but just being like, money is tight. Money's tight. No. Money's tight. I haven't been doing that. Money's tight. I haven't been going out as much. Money's tight. I've been focusing on what I can control right now and getting bread in my refrigerator, okay? That's all I'm trying to focus on. So, long-winded story about that acquaintance, but I realized that like I was going to have to just like put distance in between us because we were in two different spots. I still respect this person and I still wish them the best. However, that person is an acquaintance in my life and they can stay over there. They can stay over there. I so that's one example of, just putting somebody in the wrong place, essentially. Putting somebody that is an acquaintance in a best friend role, which I feel like I've been seeing a lot of stuff pop up about like women not understanding why their relationships have been like fallen apart and like why it's harder to make like friendships in general, just like once you get out of college and you're just trying to like navigate the world. And I'm like, well, I think one is because we're not in such like a condensed setting to where it's easier to like meet people and interact with people and get to know them on a personal basis on a quicker timeline. And I also think too there's a little bit with the panorama too. Everybody changed after the panorama. People are like scared to be around people, are excited to be around people again, or somewhere in between. And I feel like I'm over here like I'm trying to protect my energy. I'm on the side of like I'm not afraid, but like I'm cautious about going out. So I guess I would put myself somewhere in the middle. I'm just cautious about going out and cautious of like who I exchange my energy with. Now I want to talk about another example with a close friend that I had. So kind of going around like the same time, a little bit earlier, actually, than like this acquaintanceship. I had a friend that we've been friends forever. My best, like, we're real close. And I go to this person for pretty much anything and everything. Um, and there was a point in my relationship with my boyfriend where it was getting a little bit rocky. And I was actually like contemplating whether or not we were right for each other. And there were some other things too that were going on as well, where I was exploring my or like exploring myself in or exploring my thoughts in polyamory, right? Because it was something that like I guess I had a lot of like naive beliefs about, and I just wanted to learn more about it. And when I asked this friend about it, like they completely shut me down. Like, you're not polyamorous, right? Which I still to this day don't know whether or not I am, and I'm not gonna say anything about it more than that. But I it really did have me like take a step back and almost like question my personality, because I was like, whoa, wait, my this person that like knows me like through and through is telling me that like I can't be poly. So like there was a bit of like there was a bit of resistance between like me trying to figure myself out and me also trying to like also trying to get help from my friend on how to figure myself out. Um, and it started getting to a point where like I was expressing to my friend like, man, I've been having so many struggles with X, Y, and Z in my relationship with my boyfriend, and I don't know how we're gonna work this out, blah 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 blah. And my friend was getting to a point where they were like, break up break up. Now, let me also say too, people that are in a relationship, the I feel like when you're in a relationship with somebody for, especially if you've been in a relationship with them for like a long period of time, though it is important to like, ask outside sources what they feel about the relationship and stuff, the only the only person you should be having like deep conversations about your relationship with, and like trying to like essentially, like, if you have a problem in a relationship with somebody, you focus on it with them and nobody else. You can get outside like guidance and advice and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, whoever you are, whatever that relationship is, it doesn't even have to be like a boyfriend girlfriend, girlfriend girlfriend, boyfriend boyfriend relationship, they them relationship, you know, it don't even need to be anything like that. It don't need to be a romantic relationship. It could be any relationship. If you have a problem with that person, it is up to you and that person to figure it out. Okay? It's an A-B conversation. See your way out. Have everybody else see their way out, Like I said, advice is okay. But at the end of the day, you have to make the decision. They have to make the decision, So I was still in a place of like, I don't know what to do, and like I don't want to break up with my boyfriend and move back to Minnesota, but also like I'm having all of these struggles in my relationship and they're not getting resolved. And then we finally went to therapy. We finally went to therapy. We started talking with each other better, and our relationship started to like come back together, right? But at the same time, because I decided to like take my time and work on that relationship and like even with like going to therapy, I realized like, man, I instead of like trying to go after and like get all the answers from my friend, I realized that I needed to look within and get the answers from myself and go to therapy about the situation and also talk to my boyfriend. I needed to do that so that I could figure out what I actually needed. And so when I kind of told my friend about this and was trying to explain this to them, they got very defensive. And they got a little mad. I felt like they got a little bit mad at me because, like, I was trying to explain, like, you know, I can't go back to Minnesota. I can't break up with my boyfriend, like, when I know that there's just too much here for me to just give up on. And I was getting a lot of retaliation from my friend, and I realized, like, I need to put space between me and my best friend. And that was hard because, you know, I also had to recognize too that, like, that friend was also going through a lot. And maybe that person couldn't show up for me the way that, like, I needed them, or they just couldn't show up for me in the way that, like, I really wanted them to show up. And therefore, I need to show up for myself in the way that, like, I know that I need. So there's a little bit with that, setting boundaries. You know, it's really important to, like, know when somebody has your best interest in mind, but when they're, like, it's also, you know, just like when that person is also just going through some shit, and you got to give them a little bit of time and space too. Give your friends time and space. Give the people in your life some time and space to, like, deal with whatever they're going on with. You know, you have X, Y, and Z going on in your life. What you think is going on in everybody else's life, you know? They're going through the same trials and tribulations, just in a different way, in a different manner, in a different timing. You know, we're all trying to figure out life. So be gentle, be gracious, and give people time. And then last example I'm going to talk about, last example that I want to talk about is cutting people off. This one, I hate cutting off friends. Now, I used to be the type of person that, like, I used to say I would much rather break up with a boy, break up with whoever I'm in a relationship with, than to break off a friendship. Because, man, friendship breakups be hard. They are traumatizing because they're your friend, and usually, like, you invest more time, at least I feel like you should, with your friends. You invest more time in your friends. You talk more about, like, you know, your experiences and what's going on X, Y, and Z with your friends than you do with, like, your partner necessarily. Like, thinking about, like, if you're going into a relationship, you know, or you're dating around and stuff, like, you're not telling the person that you're going on a couple of dates with, like, every itty bitty part of your life. Now, of course, are you looking for the person to where you can share all that information with? Yes, of course. But it takes a second, right? And this is also why I think that, like, people should go about friendships like they go about relationships, because we put a lot of I feel like most people put a lot of expectations on what they want in a relationship, but they don't put no expectations on what they want out of a friendship. At least that's how I felt like I was. And if you resonate with that, okay. So I had a friend where we were friends for a good amount of time, right? I went to college with this person, like, you know, we're colleagues, blah, 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 blah. And when we were in college and, you know, kikiing it up, we had a really great friendship. I felt like this person was somebody that, like, truly wanted to see me elevate, wanted to see me win in life with, like, my career, and wanted to support me in those dreams. And I wanted to support this person in their dreams and all the success that they wanted. And so I really did see this person as somebody that, like, I could align with and, like, take them to the moon and the stars. You know, I could see success and like us on the, you know, on the red carpet together, or in a, you know, doing some music video or whatever together. You know, I could see this person aligning with me in a success kind of way. And then we got reconnected, you know, a couple years after college and everything. And I realized that like there were some things that kind of like changed in our relationship, just in the sense of like how this person even gave me hugs. Now, I am a hugger. I love hugs. So when this person that used to give me like full on squeezes and things, when this person that used to give me full on squeezes and love and all that jazz started like giving me these really timid hugs, and like these really like petty hugs. They felt like, you know, when somebody gives you a side hug. You know when somebody give you one of them side hugs and they pat you on the shoulder and they're like, good job. Like you feel like a fucking dog. Like not even a dog. They don't even pet you like a dog. They over here like looking at you like you I don't know. But like the energy that I was even getting from this person's hugs was off. And I started to realize, like, as I was hanging out with this person, anytime that I was hanging out with them, they were talking the entire time. And I could barely get a word in. And I realized, too, that I was just like, wait, this isn't new. This isn't new. It's been hard for me to get a word in the past as well. But now it's being elevated, right? So that was like my first red flag. Second red flag was I spent another day with this person, right? And it was a holiday. I spent a holiday with this person, and we were all together, like we were having a fun time, we were talking, yada, 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 yada. And then something that I feel is a red flag for me is when a person feels the need to call another person while hanging out with a group of people. That's a red flag to me. If you are on a phone call with a friend while you have a friend over, like, unless it's like, you know, we planned this, we have a friend that's in a different country that we're trying to like talk to really quick or something like that. Like, unless it's something like that, why are you having somebody over? Why are you having somebody over just to talk to another person on the phone with? And you talking with that person more on the phone than you talking to me? And I'm here physically? If you want it, like, the thought that I had here was, if you just wanted to talk on the phone, then I could have just stayed my ass home. I could have just stayed my ass home. Why am I here? Why am I here? That's what I felt like in this relationship, like coming up a lot. So that's second red flag, right? Third red flag, third red flag was this person was in a relationship, right? And so we would go back and forth about talking about our boos. Oh my God, I love my boo. Oh my God, I love my boo. Do, 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 do. You know, like people do when they're in relationships. It's just what we do. We mush and we gush. Okay? But there was like some struggles that were going on in their relationship that this person was telling me about. And I realized, not even realized, let me go back. There were some struggles that were going on in their relationship that this person was telling me about. And it was getting to a point where I had asked their partner for some help with something, and it backfired. And their partner ended up blocking me on Facebook for something that was really petty. Something that was really, really, really petty that like I look back at the situation and I'm just like, all of this could have just been so avoided if I wouldn't have let any one of them in on this situation. It was just, I told the wrong, I confided in the wrong person. You know, I confided in the wrong person yet again. And it was actually like not highlighting, but it was starting to rise some more tension in my friend's relationship, right? And they called me and they were like all upset and just like, I don't know what's going on and blah, 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 blah. And I just don't want to lose this person. And here's a red flag number 3. This person said, I would rather lose my friends than lose my relationship with this person. Now I'm going to say why this is a red flag. Because I don't think that this can always be a red flag. But I do feel like if you are valuing your relationship, especially if the relationship may be toxic, which low-key, this relationship was toxic, very. If you're valuing your partnership with somebody that you haven't been together with for a while, like I'm not talking about people that have been together for like 5-10 years. I'm talking about like you just jumped into this relationship and it ain't any more than like a year old or maybe a year and a half, right? Like, and you've got friendships that loop and lap the years around this person, around that relationship, you know? If you are valuing your relationships over your good friendships, over your close friendships, that is a huge red flag to me. Because like I said earlier, I value my friendships a lot, and having a friendship breakup is more traumatizing than me breaking up with a boy. I'll break up with a boy. Who the fuck care? I don't need no man. I don't need nobody. Nobody. I don't need anybody to make me happy. I know that. I don't need nobody to make me happy. And so therefore, my friendships are important because like they're the people that like I decide to give my energy to, and I decide to take their energy and not take, but like we exchange. And like I genuinely care about that person and their well-being, you know. It was a huge red flag to me where I was like, I felt like I was giving so much of myself in this relationship. I thought that our relationship was going to go. Remember, I told you, I saw the moon and the stars with this bitch. I saw the moon and the stars with this person. And in that moment, when this person said, I value my relationship with this person that I've only been dating for maybe a year and a half over any of my friendships, even my best friend who I've been friends with since before the pre-K. I'm over here like, really? You would rather lose your best friend over some dude that, I said dude, you would rather lose your friendships over a partnership that probably ain't even gonna last. So with that, I realized like this person is not for me. I am so out of line with this person that it doesn't even make sense for me to be friends with this person anymore. So, a little bit later, maybe like a month or two later, I decided to confront this friend and tell them, you know, the issues that I was having with them. And the entire time, the person was just like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that this was like such a big deal to you." And like, "Oh, well, like I couldn't message you back because my Facebook wasn't working, or I couldn't message you back because my phone number wasn't working." And oh, and there's just so much going on with me, and I felt like you were mad at me too. And like I felt like we were going to lose our friendship. And like I like like literally, I'm not even kidding you, like that's what this conversation was. And I was just like, "Yo, I'm trying to explain to you that like I want to know what's going on. Like, why are you treating me like this? Why are you acting like this? Do you still care about me?" And when they just kept giving shitty excuse after shitty excuse after shitty excuse that made no motherfucking sense, I said, "All right, well, I don't really got time to talk because I got a lot of stuff going on with me, but I hope that, you know, you're doing okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye." And I never talked to them again. Because I was just like, just like compulsive liar this person was. Compulsive liar. And I was just like, why are you telling me and feeding me all these lies when you could just tell me the truth, that you don't like me, that you're done with me, and that you don't want anything to do with me? Like, I would have rather have had that bitch be brutally honest with me than to... felt like I was on freaking Selling Sunset. I'm over here like, I don't need this bullshit. I don't need it. Why are you trying to weave around me like this? Like, just leave me alone. I don't have time for your fucking reality TV show bullshit. I'm out. I'm out. Okay? If I wanted reality TV, I would just click on Netflix. All right? Bye. So yeah, like that's some of my experiences with that. So what I have learned from how I need to show up in relationships and how I need other people to show up in relationships is that there needs to be there needs to be, maybe not an even exchange, but it needs to make sense. That person needs to align with me in a way that makes sense for me to continue talking to them. I can't have somebody in my life that I feel like is constantly draining me, constantly putting me in a negative mindset. And I need people that are either going to like help me with, you know, where I'm trying to go, or I need you out of my life, honestly. Like, if you're not benefiting me in just like, you know, and it doesn't always need to be like you're always benefiting me too, because like sometimes you just need somebody to like goof off and laugh at with. Sometimes you need somebody to just rant all of your problems to for a second. Sometimes you just need to sit in silence with somebody, and you just need their comfort and their support in silence, you know? But like, that needs to be clear. There needs to be clear outlines of like, what is this friendship on both sides? You know, if that person isn't like showing up the way that like I want them to in my life, then I need to place them in my life accordingly. If this person is somebody that like I talk to every once in a while, and like, you know, I wish them the best, but like I don't get into like details or whatever, we keep it very surface level, that's an acquaintance. If I have somebody that like, you know, I confide all of my secrets to, not all of them, but, I confide in, like, have deeper conversations with. We help each other, whether it's like, career-wise, love-wise, spiritually, X, Y, and Z, financially, like, not financially, but like, well, I mean, financially, maybe they just giving you financial advice, not necessarily like they're giving you money. If they're not, like, or if they're, benefiting me and my life's trajectory, that's a friend. That's maybe a close friend or a best friend, And then I can move them up the list. And, it's important to remember, too, when you got to cut people off or set strong boundaries. Like, something that I have not been the best at ever in my life is setting strong boundaries with people. I let people walk all over me. I am a people pleaser and X, Y, and Z. Hence the reason why I got off of social media and said goodbye to, like, everybody for a second. Because I was just like, nope. I need to focus on me. I need to set these boundaries. I need to figure out who I am so that I can come out here correct. I need to come out here correct. So, it's important to set those boundaries and know when it's important to, like, be like, we got to talk about something, friend, or, I might have to cut you off, friend. And that's okay. It's okay to have to, like, cut people out of your life. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean that you don't care about them. It doesn't mean that you don't wish them the best. It's just that, like, if they cross a line that you're just not okay with, why continue to put so much effort into something when they're not putting any effort in themselves? Why continue to show up in the relationship the way you want to when they aren't showing up the way that you want them to as well, You're showing up, but if they ain't showing up, then, like, once again, you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't, and once again, thinking, well, is that even a good analogy? I don't know. But, like, you can't make people like you. You really can't make people like you. So just focus on the people that actually like you. Focus on the people that actually care. Focus on the people that are that are showing up. And it doesn't mean that, like, the people in your life are always going to be in a positive mood. That person may be like, I need something from you today. Can you give it to me? And you best show up like a good friend. If they showing up to you like a good friend, you best show up to them like a good friend if you really care about that person. And also, if you don't care about that person like that, let them go too. Like, if you have a person in your life where it's like, I care about this person and I see that they want to talk to me and blah, 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 but, like, they just, like, kind of drain my energy, and, like, it's not like they're necessarily bad, but, like, they don't do anything for me. Cut that person off, put them in their place so that they don't feel like they're your best friend, and then they feel shitty when you don't talk to them, and then they were like, where are you, like, don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. Be honest. And it's okay. It's going to be hard. And, maybe that person's not going to, like, respond in the way that you want them to. But, like, don't be a chicken about it. Like, just point blank and period. Don't be a chicken about it. Own up to your shit. Be honest. You don't have to be brutally honest. Because some of y'all be like, oh, okay, so I don't like this about you, and I don't like this about you, and you an asshole, and this and that, and your breath stink, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's just like, yo, wait, hold on a second. Why are you coming at me like that? Why are you attacking me? Don't attack people, okay? Just say, like, hey, this is how you make me feel. This is how, like, like, this is where I'm at, and I can't. Or, you know, you could always just like do my favorite thing and just slowly ghost somebody until they realize, no, you don't want me in their life. And I think that's fine with certain cases too, because, you know, I think like a lot of people do like to do that slow ghost. And with certain people, it's okay. I feel like it's, you know, when you, in between that like acquaintance and friend vibe, you know, like not quite close friend, best friend, but like, you know, you friendly, y'all maybe meet up once a month or every once in a while when you're in town to say hi to each other. You're friends, but you're not close. You know, I feel like those are the relationships where you can be like, you know, it's okay. You can just float away and goodbye. But don't do that to a close friend or a best friend, because they might get mad. They will get mad, let's be honest. Unless they fucking deserve it. Then fine. You know, I think there is like a video that I was watching about like 4 ways to like cut off a friendship. And one of them was like, of course, your traditional ghosting. One of them is the brutal honesty. I'm trying to think of what the other ones were. But like I think there are 4 ways on how to like, and maybe I'll add it like in the description of like, look at this video of like how to cut people off, and how to end friendships. But like I really liked that. I really liked looking at that because I liked, you know, just there are different ways to cut people off, and I think in certain situations it's okay to cut people off in certain ways, you know. So yeah, that's really what I had to say about friendship today. It was a long one, but that's where I felt it needed to go, apparently. So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Please subscribe and, you know, follow me on the Spotify so you can know when I'm going to continue, you know, putting up stuff. And I appreciate y'all for being here. Once again, my name is Anastasia Ellis, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!